Hey y'all, I'm Clint Baker.
I'm James Hendrick.
And what we're going to do today is we're going to do a bee inspection, basically a late June, early July bee inspection. My safety commitment is to always wear my PPE when I'm in the bee yard and outrun James and Cody if the bees start attacking us.
So, my safety commitment is I know I'm faster than Clint.
So what we're going to do is we're going to be looking for a few things here today. We're going to be looking for one, we're going to do a Varroa mite check. We're also going to be checking the weight of the box to make sure that they have enough stores in there. And what we mean by that is enough honey and enough pollen, bee bread, those types of things. Why is that important? Well, we've had a lot of rain this year and there's been a lot of washout. So what that washout means is the nectar flow, the nectar inside the flowers of the trees and the bushes and everything else has been washed out by all the rain. So we want to make sure that they are right. For example, our company, we only pulled our honey in the spring. We may not pull any more the rest of the year. It just depends on how the rest of this year goes. Thankfully, we got a dry spell coming up and some warm spells, and the sumac and the mimosa and those types of things are blooming. So hopefully we'll get something good out of that. But how I check it, first thing I do is I just grab the back of the box and I lift it. And a good rule of thumb is if it feels like a box of rocks, they're heavy enough, and that one feels pretty heavy, so it's doing pretty good. So first thing we're going to do is we're just going to smoke the front entrance and let them know we're coming in.
The smoker's still going.
That's James's number one job today, is keep that smoker going.
We might have a little bit there.
So that just lets them know it's coming in. That way it kind of calms them down, makes them a little docile. And so what these are here is you have, this is the brood box, all right? And so the brood box has all the bees in it. It has all your brood, your everything from eggs all the way through the larvae stage, the pupae stage, all that, up to hatching brood. And then there's actually a queen excluder on here. We only run the single deeps down here for the most part. And then we have two honey supers on them. Now, I would say that this one's probably not much in it, but we'll see, all right? So we're not going to do much checking up here, other than just to look in and see on what's going on. And I was right, this one is just basically just started. I think you put this on not long ago, right?
Yeah, I put it on a couple weeks ago.
So, but as you can look in here, I'm just going to pull a frame just to check and see. Everything looks pretty full. I know the question is going to be asked, what do y'all do with the honey here? Well, most of the time, look at that, it's pretty good honey, it's just not all capped yet. All right, there is some capped in there.
Yeah, that's cool.
So everything's looking good. Well, we did pull about 30 pounds of honey off of this year. They're just now getting started good, and we did bottle some, and we are going to be giving some away, and then saving some for our guests that come so they can get some as well. This is actually a perfect day to be out here. All right, give them some smoke. This is actually a perfect day to be out here. The sky's blue.
Here, Pendrick. I'll try to relight you.
Temperature is looking good. And so, again, we're just going to get in here and we're going to look through these few things. Some things we want to look for when we're doing this is brood pattern. That's going to show us a few things. We want to look for European foul brood and American foul brood. Both of those you can almost smell when you're getting into the box. It's kind of a sour smell. And also the difference is the European foul brood can be treated pretty easily if caught early. But the American foul brood, you pretty much have to destroy the box, because both of those can go from box to box, and you don't colony to colony, and you don't want that to happen. Here is some, or a drone brood. And you can tell the difference in them because they have red eyes and it's a little bit bigger. But that pulls apart when we get in here. So I always start from the outside and work my way back to me. When I get in, some people do it differently. It's okay. You ask 12 beekeepers one question, you get about 15, 20 different answers.
He does that because the queen is afraid of the light, and as you work your way back, the queen avoids the light and goes back towards you. That way your queen is moving towards you and does not escape you, and you can find it easier.
That's exactly right. See, he's going to fill in everything. I'm going to forget a lot too. So on your outside frames, most of the time it's just normally just honey. They do that to help insulate the hive. So all I do is pull that out, I leave it, set it off to the side. I know she's not on there, I looked real quick. Now we're gonna start looking in here. There's probably, oh, never mind. We've already got brood.
Yeah.
So you can tell she's laying well. This is brood, this is cap brood. These are gonna be worker bees, you can tell because they don't stand up as tall as like this one right here. Back in here's honey. So she's likely not on this one, and we have more brood on this side. And it's pretty much full all the way around.
A good bit of drone in the middle of that one.
Yes, you can see the drone, how they stand taller. And right here is what we call a practice queen cell. And they're just practicing. They do that for swarm season and all that. Now one thing we may check if we get time here is we did catch a swarm over here yesterday, and we will check to make sure, and we got to release the queen. So hopefully we can get done with this really quickly and we can check that and see. The first thing I do when I pull it out is I start scanning for her. I want to see if I can see the queen. If I can't see the queen, it's okay. Next thing I'm doing is looking for, on that frame, eggs to see if she's in here. And there are some eggs, I think, so I want to make sure. Man, that's loaded with brood.
Yeah. I don't see any queen cells on there.
No, so we're looking for that.
Got a little bit of honey in the center.
Actually, there is one right there.
Yeah. There's nothing in it.
Nothing in it. Here is a drone emerging. Can you see that? There's two drones right there hatching.
So we're talking about queen cells. If a hive thinks that they are too full, they will make a queen cell, and they will leave the hive, and the old queen will take bees with them, and the new queen will hatch. So that's how they expand their cells. So we're looking for that to make sure that they're not in danger of swarming right now.
So I don't know if, can you see down in there really good? You see the white?
Yeah.
So that white is larvae, okay? And so that's not capped yet. And once it is capped, then she'll start developing into a worker bee. And so that's what that is. Nothing in it. It's always good to have extra eyes in here whenever you're doing this, because you do miss a lot, especially this time of the year. This is whenever they're the most populated because they're pulling in the most nectar. The best time of the day to be out here doing this is between about 10 o'clock and about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, 4 o'clock, because that is whenever all the workforce should be out. And they're the most grumpy of all of them. They're the ones that are the oldest, and so they get very grumpy. And there is a bunch of cells starting. Now, I have not seen her yet, but I have seen eggs, all stages. So I don't have to see her. I know that she is in here. As a matter of fact, she might even be in the next frame. Maybe. So there's eggs right here.
Normally the middle of your box is your brood chamber where all of the young ones are, and as they expand out they start bringing the brood frames out to the sides. So the one that had the real light colored brood in it, that was very new bees. So why he's thinking that is they may be building out to the other side too, and there may be new bees out that way.
So see this area right in here? That is bee bread. So what they do is that's pollen. They mix a little bit of honey and they mix their spit, their enzymes in there, and they create bee bread, and that's their protein that they eat. So they do have a good balanced diet, and it's just like anything else. You want to have a good balance of pollen sources, and most people think the pollen comes directly from flowers. It does some, but the majority of it comes from trees, and it comes from bushes, those types of things. So per acre, the linden tree, which the native to us is the basswood, is the most productive nectar producer that we have here in the state of West Virginia. She might be on this frame. See her?
I saw something under the bottom corner here. I thought I saw a tail, but it may not be.
There's a lot of drones, but this one has a lot of eggs on it, and I'm not too concerned about trying to look for her and possibly hurt her or something else, one of the others. That's something a lot of new beekeepers do. They try to look for her, and then they end up rolling her when they're taking these out, putting them back in. You really want to be careful with that, because if you roll her, it'll crush her and damage her or kill her, and then you've got a lot more other issues you're having to take care of. So even though we didn't see her, I'm going to leave it alone for now. What we're going to do is, I did look to see the brood patterns look good. I didn't see any sign of European foul brood, or I didn't see any sign of American foul brood. What we're going to do now, we're going to do a mite check, and James is going to go get the alcohol. And so how we're going to do that is we're going to scrape a half a cup of bees into here, and we're going to dump them into here. We're going to do an alcohol wash. We're going to look and see how many mites per 100 bees there are. And so that's 2 to 3% is what we want. All right, that's a good benchmark. So basically that's 2 to 3 mites per 100 bees. A half a cup of bees is roughly 300 bees. And so that's what we're going to do. Fill that up, please. What you want to do before you do this is you want to make sure that the queen is not, and I'm going to actually use this one here because there is a ton of bees on it. But you want to make sure that she is not.
Old clump getting ready to fall off there.
On there. And she is not. And here's the thing about this time of the year too. If she is, guess what? It's okay. It's that's about 3/4 of a cup. We're gonna dump them in there. James is gonna put the lid on it and he's gonna shake it until he can't shake no more. I will say, if you're gonna buy a smoker, buy a good smoker. Because the cheaper ones, they are hard to get lit and stay lit. I get mine from Man Lake. I like theirs. Again, go back to the Ask 12 Beekeepers one question. You'll get 13 or 14 different answers. So
this shake is separating the mites from the bees. Kind of washing them off with the alcohol.
now another thing that I like to do, because I call these queen killers and bee killers, I like to go in and clean the bridge. This is called bridge comb or burr comb right here. I like to clean all that off. And my brother's fussing at me right now because I just threw it on the ground because that's liquid gold.
It didn't go on the ground.
We'll melt that down and get all kinds of stuff out of that. We have even metal workers asking for it all the time.
Blacksmithing, you use it to darken metal and seal metal with to keep it from rusting. Use it in conjunction with linseed oil.
James is picking it up because he knows that I get fussed at all the time, probably. But that'll also be on the bottom of stuff, so you want to make sure that you're getting it cleaned off real good. Can you see any mites on the bottom?
Turn it on the bottom.
I'm going to go ahead and start closing them up. Good rule of thumb is to try to be in and out in under 15 minutes. We try to do it under 12 minutes. Why? Because then you start to get robbing going on, and that's just another hive coming in and trying to rob honey off of them. You also will have, they just get mad. They just get really mad. My wife told me, and it's on a video to prove, it says when you've got a bunch of mad women, you need to quit messing with them. So
we have 2 mites on the bottom of that.
So 2 mites. So if you remember, what was our threshold?
2 to 3%.
2 to 3%. There's about 100 bees in there, so that's about right. So we're running good. We're running good. So you want to catch that early and often is what you want to do. One thing I always do, just to make sure, is I always look through it and make sure that I didn't accidentally do the unthinkable. All right. So now we're just going to put everything back together. And even though they're all ticked off right now, and you can hear, I don't know if you can hear it on the camera, but there's a huge difference in the sound inside this hive because they are upset. And there's not much we can do about it, but they will calm down here in just a second. All right. And so we put everything back together. We have enough room in here for them to keep bringing in nectar, as you can tell with this one up here. As a matter of fact, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to switch these around. This is called under supering, is what this is called. And what it'll do is it will encourage them to draw this out and put honey in there versus this one that is pretty much full. That's about 40 pounds right there, 45 pounds of honey. And this one we will leave on them. We will never rob one of these off of here because that'll be what takes them through the winter. We only take what's extra. So I do want to show you something here that a lot of folks don't know, especially new beekeepers. Most time there's a notch right here. A lot of times beekeepers this time of the year will put them like this, and that's improper, or they'll put them in the back. Reason why it's improper, this is where you want to put it during the winter. That way the air comes up and does not cross the brood chamber. It comes up in the front and just keeps good air in there, not stale. All right. You want to do it like this, Now it seals everything. Now the air goes in and comes out this little hole right here and out. So it helps keep the brood cool, because they want to keep the brood between 95, 98 degrees, and that's why they're all down the front flapping their wings, trying to keep that airflow moving through here. So if you put this up here, it goes in right over the brood and out, and it keeps it cool. Now you can do it on this side too, but it's easier for them if you keep it on the front end. Another thing you can do, James already had done it, you can take a rock, put it up there, you can put it back here, and that'll help. Especially with the weather coming up the way it is this next week, we want to give them as much airflow as we possibly can so that it will help them. Because if you come out here and they do what's called bearding, that's they're all on the front out here, that means that it is so hot in there, and there's so many in there that they actually move outside the hive and just hang out outside so that they will keep the inside of the hive that regulated the temperature that they need. So just a little bit of a recap so I didn't forget anything that we were going to go over. What were we looking for again? Were they have enough food in there? They did. So what we need to do off that, if they didn't, we would have to make the decision, do we need to supplemental feed? And when we supplemental feed, we would mix like 1-to-1 sugar water, and we would put feeders on them and let them eat that. But with the nectar coming up, getting ready to come out, we should be good there. All right. So also, let's see. We wanted to look. We did a mite inspection. Our mite counts are good. They're at 2 to 3%, so everything looks good there. We will still treat probably mid-July when it's called a dearth. And what happens during that time? The production of the brood slows down. And that's when you want to treat, when the least amount of brood in there as there is. So that's when we will treat, even though this one's at a good percentage and the rest of them probably are too, we want to keep them that way. Because going into winter, that's where a lot of beekeepers lose their bees. They don't do all these inspections that we're doing now. And that is what, when you lose bees, we only lost about 20%, where the average across the nation was 60 to 70% losses this past year. So inspections now are very crucial and important, and I get it. It's hotter than the hinges out here right now, but guess what? You got to get in here and do it. There's a difference between a beekeeper and a beehiver, and you got to be a beekeeper. All right, good husbandry. So we check the mites. We also look for European foul brood. No signs of that. No signs of American foul brood. Brood patterns were looking good. No signs. One thing I didn't mention earlier that I was looking for was wing deformity. That's another way you can see if there's a big mite load on them. You can physically see that. And then something I do want to talk about real quick. This time of the year is a good time if you want to start re-queening with either new queens or doing splits. This is a good time of the year to do it. The reason why is you're still got a little time before the big what are they called, dragonflies are out, which will eat a lot of the queens when they go out on their mating flights, and you can get them ready for fall and for winter. And so you can build their brood back up, feed them, get them ready for that. And literally you could take this one hive and create 2, 3, or 4 more colonies out of this one if you have the queens to do that with. And you can buy them locally. I would suggest locally. We are kind of protected here in the Appalachian Mountains from all of this Africanization and all those things. I'm not saying we're 100% excluded from it, but when you start buying bees from down south, or from people who buy them from down south and then bring them up here and resell them, that's where that Africanization problem is happening. So then we bring it up here and introduce it into, let's say James introduces them into his yard. Well, then Matthew, he's got some 3 miles away. Well, now his queens go for mating flights. He gets some of that Africanization in his, and now we're having to start killing off colonies because of that. So again, I would refrain from that. Find a local beekeeper. There's a lot of us around here that will sell some packages, sell some nukes, sell some queens. This year's pretty rough because of the weather. like all the folks that I know who do this for a living, they're having trouble getting the queens to come back from their mating flights because of the weather. So anyway, that is all I have. What do you, anything you want to add to that?
He was talking about the genetics, making sure that you got local bees. This apiary was not started from any bought bees. We started it from swarms that were caught locally and swarms that were caught here on the grounds of the plant. So everything is a local bee. Whether it came from someone else's hive in this valley, we do not know, but it could be wild bees that are native to this area. So that is the genetics of the area, and we like to keep it that way by not introducing any outside genetics.
That's right. Two of these I did donate out of our own, but they've been in our apiaries for years. They were just splits that we made. A couple things that I'd like to point out. One, something that James made that I think is amazing is, if you'll pan right over there, we came up with the idea to kind of honor George Vickers, and we may do others as time goes on. But just in memory of George Vickers, and everybody who knew George Vickers knew that he would say it's the best day ever. And so James took one, made the box, and he engraved that on there for George. And you know, hopefully we can continue that tradition as time goes on.